In this video, I'm going to show you how to do keyword research step by step, as well as how to evaluate how much those keywords are worth. So let's get into it. Alright, so here is the keyword research Google Sheet document, and you'll be able to download this document right from the link in the description. And there will also be a link back to this video in this document, so if you need further clarification, you'll just be able to come right back to this video. So this isn't too complicated. The only thing you'll need is a Ahrefs account, which if you don't have one, you can get a $7 7-day trial, which will be more than enough. You'll be able to do a whole lot of this process for what you need Ahrefs for. It'll just take you a couple of minutes, but you will need that account. So the first thing that we're going to do is, before doing anything, we're going to make duplicates of this homepage, and I'll go over the equations, what everything's going to pull through. It's going to look really messy before we get into it, but what you're going to do is create duplicates of pages for your pages that you're going to rank. So let's use the example of a roofer, which is what we're going to be using. So the roofing pages that this roofer may want to rank would be the homepage. Let's see, they might want to rank their roof repair page. There might be a commercial roofing page, so on and so forth. The reason why we want to update this now rather than later is because when you change the name of a sheet, how the data pulls through, it doesn't pull through right away. It can take 5, 10, 15 minutes for it to realize on the back end that the name of the sheet has been changed. So we want to make sure we do that before we go on with the rest of the process so that there's no delay once we actually get to this point in the process. So go ahead, duplicate the homepage sheet, and just rename the sheets corresponding to whatever you'll recognize what specific page it will be for. So the next thing that we're going to need to do is find our competitors. So essentially we are going to be looking at the keywords that our competitors are already ranking for, because they've done all the legwork for us of finding the important keywords. So I'm going to search for Boston Roofer. I recommend searching for whatever the primary or vanity keyword is for you. So if you focus on car accident law, it might be car accident attorney Boston or wherever you are located. For roofing, it might be just Boston Roofer. It might be commercial roofing Boston. So whatever the main focus is for your website, you want to find those competitors because they're going to have the most relevant keywords to what you want to rank for as well. So you're just going to scroll down, and I would recommend taking everybody that is not a large directory, so all the other businesses here that are on page 1. And I've already done this. I'm not going to go through all of them just to make it easier. But you're just going to open all of them up, and then one by one, you're just going to copy just the domain name, no HTTP, no HTTPS, no if there's a page down here, so if it's / something, just take the domain name. You're going to come into Ahrefs here. This is what it'll look like once you're logged in. Throw the root domain into the search bar. You're going to go down here to organic keywords, export, full export, and then it will save your file and you'll be able to download it once it's done. So once you've done that for all the competitors, you've downloaded all of their keywords, you're going to come back into the sheet, onto the import sheet, and you're just going to import your files. Now, depending on if they're saved on your computer, you can just upload them. If they are added to Drive, like I did with mine, then you can go to recent. But what you're going to do is you're going to select the CSV file and hit append to current sheet. You need to make sure it's very important that you use append. Okay, so you're just going to follow this process for all the sheets, just making sure that you are appending them to the current sheet. Great. So that's the last time you'll have to touch the sheet. So now what this has done is it's pulled in a whole bunch of stuff on the research side of things. So we've pulled in keywords. There are no duplicate keywords in here, so it's already parsed through the entire list. It pulled in the search volume. And now you need to fill out whether or not it's a keyword that you need to target. So some of them will be very irrelevant, like University of Rhode Island. Chances are whichever site ranked for this ranked very, very poorly for it, and there's no point in really doing that. So to speed up this process, what you can do is you can use the filters here. Text contains or text does not contain, just to very quickly add a yes or no under the target as to whether or not you want to target that. So I can do filter text does not contain roof. I've determined that if it does not contain roof, then it's probably not a keyword that I want to target. So I can just scroll all the way down here. I'm not going to do it for all of them because it's just an example, but I would scroll it down for all of them and hit no. And then I would remove the filter here. I would just target the ones I haven't chosen by targeting blanks and go through the rest of the list. So for example, I'm just going to add yes to a bunch of them. Does not mean I necessarily would want to target these guys. You need to go through the list of yourself. This is just for time constraint reasons. Otherwise, this would be a couple hours of a video of me going through all these keywords. But you're going to just indicate on each one of them yes or no. Alright, so once you've gone through and you've added yes or no to every single one of the keywords, what you're going to do is you're going to filter by yes, and then you need to choose the target page. So this is what page you want to rank for that keyword. So the pages that we have here are what we indicated down here: homepage, repair, and commercial. And you need to make sure you're using the exact name of the sheet title. So if I wanted to target the homepage with this, the roof repair page here, and let's just say this was for the commercial. And we do this for all of the keywords that are marked as yes. Which ones are going to be homepage, which ones are going to be repair page, which ones are going to be the commercial page. So once you've gone through and you've added your target page to each one of the keywords that you want to target, you're going to be able to come over to the actual pages and see that it's already pulled the data through. So what this is doing is it's checking the research tab to see what pages have you marked as the target page, which is homepage down here. So which ones have the target page of homepage, which is the sheet name. It's going to add those keywords and only those keywords, as well as their search volume. And what this does is it'll show you what pages are ranking for that term. So for this one, you're actually going to have to pull it all the way down. It can become a pretty monster document when you have, let's say, 300 terms in here and you're pulling it down and there might be 10 different competitors. This cell can be really large. So what I recommend is, if you're not looking specifically to see what competitor pages are ranking for that keyword, just go ahead and hide this column so it's a lot easier to look at your information. But as I said, it's going to look like this. You just need to pull down the anchor here for it to go onto every keyword that you chose. And it will show you the exact pages that are ranking. So now I know that my competitors' home pages are also ranking for this. So at this point, I might know if I want to go back on the research page and change this. So if I saw that maybe I wanted to target metal roofing keywords for my homepage, but I realized that most of my competitors actually have a page dedicated to metal roofing and they're ranking for that page, then I would probably change up the page that I'm targeting for that keyword or those keywords. And it'll do this for every single page. So what we see here is that this right now is marked as there being some sort of error, but that's not the case. It's just that because we changed the sheet name earlier and I've been going through this very quickly, it hasn't updated on the back end yet. Roughly about 5 minutes here, it will be updated. This process of going through the keywords can take anywhere, depending on how many keywords that you have, half hour to a couple of hours. So by the time you actually get to this, whenever I use this document, by the time I actually get to this point, this is already pulled through, but because I'm going through this so quickly, it hasn't pulled in yet. So that's essentially what all those pages do. It just maps the keywords to those pages, shows you the search volume, as well as who's ranking for those. So the last thing for us to look at is the stats sheet. And this has been working in the background, but there's a couple things you need to add here. So over here we can see the total imported terms. So what this is doing is just checking how many keywords we imported on the import sheet. The next is the selected terms. So of the total amount of keywords that we imported, how many keywords were selected as yes that we want to target them. The total search volume is just totaling of the selected keywords, how much total potential, what is the total search volume on a monthly basis that they have. So you don't need to touch any of those, but this is where we need to edit the values. So our estimated click-through rate, or CTR, just by default is 5%. So of all the traffic that's potential, what percent do you think that you can get? So if you were to rank number 1 for every single one of these terms, then your CTR may be 15, 20, 23%, somewhere around that range. 23% was a random number, but you get the point. But chances are we're going to have some terms that are ranking, top of page 1, mid page 1, bottom of page 1, somewhere on page 2. So estimated CTR of about 5% is fine. You can put that to whatever you want. If you want to be really conservative, you can go down to 1%. If you want to be really aggressive, you can go up to 10, 12, 15%. Next is estimated website conversion rate, which I've left as default by 20. So if you're tracking your conversion rates on your website, you'll be able to put in your exact numbers here. But essentially, for every 100 visitors that come to your website, what percent of them actually will take some sort of conversion action, whether that's calling, whether that's filling out a form, or whether that's completing a live chat, or whatever other conversion metrics you may have if you're an e-commerce store might be actually purchasing. So for the local space, it's roughly 20%. I'd say it was about average. It's really going to depend on industry as well, but 20% is a decent baseline. If you have your own numbers, go ahead and put yours in there as well. And then the last thing what you're going to need in is the lead value. So how much are customers worth to you? And so what you can do, if you don't know that number, you can come over here to teambluedog.com/customer-value. And in here, you can enter in your lifetime value. So from the first transaction to the last transaction that a customer makes with you, how much total will you have gained in revenue? So if you're a roofer, maybe they come in for a repair, and then 5-10 years later, they need another repair or a full replacement. So, over the lifespan of that customer, those are the two transactions that they have. Maybe the replacement was $5,000, maybe the repair was $500, so $5,500 would be the lifetime value. So you can't just look at individual transactions, you need to look at, on average, how much does one customer spend with you over their lifetime. And yes, it will vary, which is why we're using averages. So if one person over their lifetime spends $10,000, another person over their lifespan spends $2,000, the average would be $6,000. So let's say we have a average lifetime value of $5,000. Our margin. So what is our average profit margin? And it's going to be in a decimal, so if it's 30%, 0.3. And lead conversion rate. So this is focusing on actual leads. So for every 10 phone calls that you get on average, how many turn into customers? So let's say 0.2%. So 20% of qualified leads that you get turn into actual customers. Hit submit and they'll put out your lead value, which in this case is $300. So add in the lead value here. So on average, each phone call is worth $300. Now this will show you the estimated monthly traffic. So based on the click-through rate that you chose, it's just taking the search volume times the click-through rate. So 5% of the 5850 is 292 estimated visitors per month. Of the website conversion rate, which is 20%, it just takes the monthly traffic, gets 20% of it. So 20% of the 292 is about 58. And then if you get 58 leads, and each lead is worth $300. Based on the keywords that have been selected, if you were to get the 5% click-through rate, the 20% conversion rate, you should estimate be making a roughly $3,500 a month in value. So that's how this sheet works. You're going to import your competitors' keywords, determine which ones that you want to target, map them out to specific pages. On these pages, we're going to be able to see our keywords designated by page, the search volume, as well as the competitors and the pages of the competitors that are ranking for those terms. And then on the stat sheet, we'll be able to see the estimated traffic, leads, and value that we'll be able to get from those keywords every single month. Like I said at the start of this video, you'll be able to get this sheet file right in the description. I'll also put I'll try to put some sort of annotation link on this video itself, so you'll be able to easily go ahead and download it. If you have any questions, please let me know. My email is jared@teambluedog.com, and that's Jared with an O, Jarod. So go ahead, use this tool, and start beating your competition.